is a look at all of the draft picks in 2018 for the New York Rangers. And for more on the state of the New York Rangers, NHL.com senior writer Dan Rosen, who has been taking in development camp. Dan, welcome back to the show. I'm excited for your power ranking segment with TJ, by the way. I hope you're ready because, you know, he's definitely excited about it. But
it is early. It is early.
It's early, but it's never too early for you.
Stop crying.
It's never too early for you two to go at it with each other.
I'm not prepared for this yet.
Well, that'll be in a few minutes. Let's start with Vitaly Kravtsov. How's he looking in camp, and what are the chances that he could actually be in North America next season?
Well, from what I saw from him, he looked good. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's a prospect development camp, so he's going up against non-NHL players at this point. But the key thing here with Kravtsov is that he has the ability to buy out the final year, personally buy out the final year of his Continental Hockey League contract, his KHL contract. He can do that, and he's going to take the guidance of the New York Rangers on what to do here. And a decision will come sooner rather than later, certainly. If he does buy himself out, he could be on the Rangers come opening night, or he could start the year in Hartford or the American Hockey League. If he doesn't do it, obviously he's over there in the KHL. Two schools of thought. One, he's comfortable over there. He had a good playoffs in the KHL. So stay there, develop another year. The second school of thought, and I think the more the Rangers would like, is come over here. You're under our control. You're just quickly up the road in Hartford if we need you or if we want to bring you here. You're on North American ice. You're learning the English language. All those things come into play. So it's going to be very interesting to see the decision he made. Gordy Clark, the Rangers director of player personnel, he told me that Kravtsov on Tuesday asked him, "What do you think? You've seen me for a couple of days here in prospect camp." And Gordy told me that he told Kravtsov, "I think you're ready to come to North America." But, of course, we'll wait and see how that decision plays out.
And the interesting thing for the Rangers, too, is they are one of those teams that's in a retooling phase, if you will. So some of these prospects have a legitimate shot at maybe playing for this team. Who are some of the prospects that you think actually have a chance to make the roster?
Well, certainly Elias Anderson and Philip Hedl, their two first-round picks from last year. They got a taste of the NHL. Hedl 9 games and Anderson 7 games last year. They're certainly right there. Libor Hayek is a guy, the defenseman. They picked him up in the trade with Ryan McDonough and JT Miller going to Tampa Bay. He said he thinks he's ready to make the roster. Of course he's going to say that, but he looks good. They like him a lot. There's openings there on D, and he's a puck-moving two-way defenseman. Brett Howden is another one, a center who certainly has looked good in a prospect camp, and he is another one that came over in that trade with Tampa Bay that sent Miller and McDonough there. So he's one. Ryan Lindgren, a defenseman, has talked about, look, spots are available for us, certainly there. I think Ville Meskinen and Michael Lindquist are two guys to watch as well. They were signed by the Rangers in early May. Lindquist from Sweden, Meskinen from Finland. And Jeff Gorton specifically said, we like both of them as well. So there's a number of guys in this prospect camp that the Rangers had this week that are going to be given really long looks in training camp. I think the closest things to locks are Anderson, Hedl, Meskinen, and Lindquist, but Hayek certainly can play his way in. Howden and Lindgren can do the same.
All right, Dan.
Oh, here we go.
That time, baby.
All right.
And I'll start by saying I totally agree with you. This is way too early because we only can guess where players are going to land.
We're always guessing. What are you talking about?
Well, that's a fair point. But at least we know the rosters, Dan.
That's true.
We know the rosters during the season.
Tavares is going to play.
That's right. Well, some of us have a hunch, but that's another story. All right.
We all got hunches.
Let's go to your list. Let's get your list out there, your top 5 at this point as we sit in late June.
Well, I really like the Sharks, and I'll move them up if they get Tavares.
That's nice, yeah.
Look, they have a lot of things going for them. EJ, I think you'll agree with me on this one. Okay. Peter DeBoer is one of the best coaches in the National Hockey League.
Love Peter.
Underrated. He is such a good coach and gets so much out of these guys. Their goaltending is set. Pavelski, Couture, Vlasic, Burns, Thornton will be back. And if they get Tavares, Evander Kane there too, gotta like them.
All right, keep it rolling. We don't got all night.
Bay, same thing. they're only paying a little over $4 million, I think, for their goaltending, which gives them a ton of cap room.
And I guess you'll move them up too if they get Tavares.
Of
Okay,
course.
number 3, the Caps, the Cup champs. All right,
they're
2.
The team
go ahead.
I'm a little bit. Oh my goodness, they're the team I'm a little bit worried about. The Capitals. Okay, new coach. They got a lot going on there, and it's all good, but it's a tough spot, I think, for Todd Reirden. He comes in, his team's going to have a little bit of a Stanley Cup hangover. He can't do any better than Barry Trotz.
Time is up. All right, thanks, Dan. Let's get right to the right picks here.
I think you're wrong with the Maple Leafs.
I agree with you. With Sharks, Sharks number 1. Crosby and Malkin are still together. Number 4. Jets, we agree they should be in there. Number 3. Caps won the Cup. They got all their players back. Number 2, and the team that I have a hunch, that I think, that I have a guess might get with John Tavares. Then you have Matthews, you have Tavares, you have Kadri through the middle, you have Anderson in goal. Who knows what other tricks that Brendan Shanahan is going to have up his sleeve defensively? I got to go with the Leafs, number 1. But of course, Dan, if they don't get Tavares, I'll move them down.
Please, yes. Where are the Nashville Predators on your list?
Hey, listen, you let me down. They let me down big time, Dan, last year. Okay. So they're not. They are not in my top 5 right now.
So a year ago, the Capitals probably let you down too, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So these things happen. One season to the next.
All right, Dan. We'd love to listen. I would love to talk all day about this.
By the way, I got.
But unfortunately,
go back to the Islanders.
All right, I'll see. All right, well, we'll see. I'll see you on Sunday for our free agent coverage, 12:30 Eastern.
We will not be yelling at each other.
Don't be late. Don't be late.
I won't be late.